Hi there, welcome to Mini Math Lessons. I'm Karen, and today's video overview of the math lesson is on some statistics, kind of high school level, because we're going to be looking at linear regression and linear regression t-tests to determine how well your line actually fits, if a linear model was a good decision. So this activity, again, I'm using ClassPad.net. Here's the landing page. If you don't have an account, I suggest you get one. It's free, and that way when you are working on these mini math lessons, you can actually save them and duplicate them into your own account. So if you have an account, you get this option up here to duplicate anything that you are working in that's shared by someone else, and then it becomes your own copy. You have your own copy that you can edit. So that's something to think about. So this activity is one that I've adapted from the Fostering Statistical Thinking resource book, available currently on Casio Cares website, free resources for math teachers. So I've just taken the activity and kind of adapted it to fit this model. So it's basically comparing the growth of a person, Katie, girl, from her birth to 9 years old. And so what we start with just a table of values, and you'll see her age, and this is age in months described over here as the independent, and then height as the dependent, and this is in inches. And so basically they're going to first look at this table and what's the relationship? Do you think there is a relationship between age and height? What kind of relationship, that type of thing. So once they kind of explore that, just what do you notice? Then they move down to actually making some graphical representation to see if their prediction up here that there is or there isn't a relationship is true. So they're going to make a scatter plot. And then I'm just going to walk through real quick. They're going to make a scatter plot. Directions are there, but all you do is select the columns, so age, height, and then graph, and you'll notice scatter plot is an option. So they're going to make a scatter plot and determine if that was a good decision, if there is actually a relationship. So, you know, what kind of relationship you're seeing. It kind of looks like it starts off a curve, but then it kind of linear out, you know, it looks like it's more constant and the older she gets. So what kind of things are you noticing from the graph? So they're going to be answering questions there. Then they're going to see if, is there a nice break between here? Because right here when she's first growing, it does seem like it's growing faster, like she's getting taller faster, but then it sort of seems to even out, go more at a slow, steady rate right here. So it's pretty fast growth and it's steady. So they're saying, is there a nice break where you could maybe look at these as a piecewise function? So we talk about piecewise function. And then as they move on down, then they're going to get into, okay, so let's just look at the older ones that have more of a, and I'm just going to this graph down here so I don't keep scrolling up, that have more of a linear. So if you look right here, this seems more of a linear relationship, and this is more exponential, I guess. It grows a little fast. So they're basically going to look at just the part that seems like it's growing at a constant rate. So then that's, I'm going to get rid of this, but that's what we then do in here. So notice we have another table, but we've taken out the data that showed much faster growth, and we're only looking at the growth from 18 months on that seemed to kind of have more of a constant rate of change. So then they're going to do the same thing. They're going to they have this scatter plot, and they can see it's a little more linear looking. So what is a line of fit? So they're going to do a linear regression, come up with the equation, and then they're going to analyze, does that equation make sense for this data? And they're going to do a t-test. And a t-test, you'll notice we have a lot of options when we're in the statistic menu. So when I select those columns, we already did the graph, and above they're doing some regression lines, but then there's all of these other things that you can do, and we're going to be looking at some of the tests that you can do. So we're looking at the linear regression test. Is that line of fit that you thought fit your model, is that really a good model? This is what's the probability that it's a good fit? So that's what they're doing here in this section. And then finally at the end, they're going to go back and look at all of the data again. So you'll see we have that scatter plot from all the data, and they're going to do another linear regression and see if that's a good model and compare the precision, the probability of that being a good fit. So this is probably more high school level talking about this. And obviously you would want to have already talked about what is a linear regression and how do you find the equation, all those types of things. But this is a nice exploration of basically looking at real data and comparing and breaking it down and looking at different parts of it and thinking about the models that would fit it and are they good fits or not.